car guy. It kind of went out on a limb for us, made our season come together for us. And just hopefully we can get everything, right in the future today, and hopefully we can be there in the end.
All right, you've been here since 1981, and you've seen this racetrack on a lot of different occasions. This morning, pretty good draw getting out early, but right now the racetrack is completely different. To kind of throw everything you learned and little did this morning out the window, right?
Oh, yeah, a little bit, but, when we raced down here in April, it was a little bit like this, so, I don't think it's nothing we're going to have to worry about, but, hopefully the cushion will stay there a little bit so it can make some side-by-side racing today. If that get going, and, a lot of things will turn on them, but, wait and see what happens. You got a lot of tough competition here. There's 6 good heat races, and, anything can happen today.
You guys have been watching a racetrack all afternoon, won't you?
Oh, yeah, because this is one of the softest tire compounds we've ever qualified on here at Pennsboro, and normally you qualify on pretty hard compounds, and today it was just completely different than it's ever been for qualifications. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens and kind of look at some of the cars coming through the heat races, see how black the track's going to get and how brazen it's going to get.
Donnie, I'll let you go back to work here. I know you guys have a lot of work to do. Talk to you a little bit later. Good luck.
All righty. Thank you very much.
Donnie Moran, ladies and gentlemen, Dresden, Ohio. I'll be starting on the outside of the front row.
Pretty numbed up, but I think we got a good shot. Went out pretty late to qualify. Still clicked off a pretty good time.
Well, first of all, how's the car going?
It's going real good. I'd like to got out a little bit earlier. I think we could have had a shot at the pole, but we start outside pole the 4th heat, so we're going to go for it.
I know sitting here a lot of figuring to see what's going on. I just talked to Donnie Moran. He's going to be watching the racetrack and trying to figure out what's going to be the decision. Racetrack kind of different here as it was this morning, and a lot of changes going to be taking place, right?
Yeah, for sure. It slowed down a little quicker than I would have liked it to, or should have, or whatever, but I think you're going to see the whole Pennsboro back here shortly.
Going to try to go all 100 laps on that foot. Think you can make it?
I sure hope so, because I don't have any spares.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Davey Johnson driving the 1J, and on an injured foot, had a pretty good qualifying run here this afternoon. 150 at Hagerstown Speedway coming up next weekend on Saturday, qualifying for the late model automobiles. That'll be taking place on Saturday. Also the Race of Champions on Saturday. And of course the Hub City 150, an event started way back in 1975. That is pulling out, and we are just about ready to go with the first qualifying heat for the 15th annual Turbo Blue Dirt Track World Championship. The cards have been dealt. It's time to play. A take one indication being given to the field this time as they work as the number 1 Cochran pace truck takes them around this time. Butch Muan Cochran, Stars by Arizona pace track, will be exiting down in turn number 4. And we've got a 2x2x2 ready to go here for heat race number 1. Steve Shaver in car 30, Mike Johnson in car 2 bring the field up to speed into turn number 4. And the green is out. And look at Mike Balzano quickly jumping into that second spot. Billy Moyer to 4th as Mike Johnson settles into 3rd. Into turn number 1, we got a car into the guardrail. Back in turn 4, car in the guardrail. Caution on the speedway. The 3 of Bruce Hordusky backing up. Well, you talked about it, Pete. Mike Balzano couldn't sit there. He's good everywhere he goes. You know that last week winning out on the mile in Oklahoma City, this week here at Pennsboro on the half mile. Always a threat. Here we go. The second try at the first heat race coming off before. And this time Mike Johnson on the outside gets the bite. He'll take the lead into turn number 1, and Shaver and Balzano battle for second. Boy, let's hold your breath when they come down the front straightaway. Bob Pierce on the outside trying to move up too as he heads down the back straightaway. Got a little too high though. He'll drop back in there at about 7th spot. Now it's Shaver going to the outside of Johnson in turn 4. Shaver has the lead back. Well, a lot of tackiness down
Now up on the outside, Steve Shaver showed it there coming out of turn 4.
Johnson second, Balzano third, Fitzgerald fourth, Moyer runs fifth. Caution on the speedway. Here we go. Lights are out. Shaver, your leader. Brings the field back up to speed in turn 4. The green is out. Balzano to the outside in 2. Takes second away from Mike Johnson. Billy Moyer behind them, taking 4th away from the 100 of C.S. Fitzgerald, and Bill Fry in the 66, trying to make a move on the inside into turn number 3. Shaver leads Balzano on his bumper, Johnson third.
Well, Mike Balzano on a real gutsy move. Look at Balzano once again, high up on the outside.
Side by side for the lead down the backstretch, and Balzano will use the high line to take the lead. The flood wall flyer fly. We got a crash in turn 2. Car off the pace. Steve Francis in car 15. The yellow is out. As the yellow comes out, Billy Moyer taking over third from Mike Johnson when they came down the front straightaway, just as the yellow came out. Back out. Shaver is on the gas pedal another time, coming off the bottom of turn 4, up to speed. This time Shaver goes to the top. He'll hold the lead coming off of 2. Billy Moyer ducks to the inside of Mike Johnson, and he'll make the pass for third.
Billy Moyer, great move coming out of turn 2, goes down underneath Mike Johnson. Moyer, look at Moyer, hauling the leaders in.
Shaver, Balzano, Moyer, Johnson, Fitzgerald, Fry, Bear, Provenzano, and Pierce trying to charge from the back of the pack. Bob Pierce, who went to the back of the pack on lap 1 in car 32, has got a long way to go, but he's certainly trying to get there. Here we go. Steve Shaver, Mike Balzano, Billy Moyer, right now your front 3. Still 11 laps remaining in this heat, and we're up to speed. Balzano tried the inside of Shaver, but couldn't get it done in 1 and 2. Shaver still leads Balzano second, Moyer third. Bill Fry to 4th in car 66.
Now look at Bob Pierce up on the outside, trying to keep it between the lines. He moves up a couple more spots in car 32.
He is driving the wheels off of that machine as he comes from the back of the pack. Steve Shaver, though, opening up a 6-car length advantage over Mike Balzano, and then it's a good ways back to the third place car of Billy Moyer.
Battle right now between Bob Pierce and Bupa Bear and John Provenzano.
Yeah, position 6, 7, and 8 in turn number 1, crowded. Pierce way up there. Now trying to slingshot to the inside of Bupa Bear off of turn 2, Bob Pierce. And Bupa Bear wheel-to-wheel into turn number 3. Bear holds him off. Another race beat. Bill Fry in the 66 has closed in on the 21 of Billy Moyer for third.
Fry up on the outside. Look at this, side by side down the back chute.
Watch the race for third. Moyer slides high, and here comes Bill Fry underneath him off the 4th turn. He'll move to third.
Billy Fry, Greenbrier, Arkansas, moves into the last transfer spot, but here comes Moyer trying to come back.
Moyer's car seems extremely loose in the corners. Fry to third now because he'll have enough to close in on the 30 of Steve Shaver, the E1 of Mike Balzano, who have a comfortable advantage. Bob Pierce again challenging Cooper Bear. Rod Evans off the pace in car R1. Rod Evans off the pace in the R1. He heads to the top of the racetrack in turn 2. Caution on the speedway. Caution on the speedway.
Track World Championship here this afternoon. Schaefer's first appearance was, matter of fact, I believe he finished up in the 16th spot back in 1993.
Green is out. And here we go. Cooper Bear picks up the spot. He gets around the 2 of Mike Johnson and moves to 5th. Shaver still leading. Balzano 2nd. Billy Fry in 3rd. Moyer 4th with Bear 5th. And Bob Pierce now taking over 6th in car 32 as Mike Johnson, who started 2nd, fades to 7th. Oh, Fry getting into the back of Balzano in turn 4, trying to get underneath him. Balzano holds him off.
Bill Fry trying to move up one more spot with just a couple of laps to go this time.
White flag is waving. One more lap to go. Shaver leading Balzano, Fry, Moyer. Bob Pierce now underneath Cooper Bear. And Balzano makes a challenge on Shaver in 1 and 2, but can't make the pass. Some real hard racing here in the first heat. Off the 4th turn, taking the heat race win and starting 3rd will be Steve Shaver. Balzano 2nd, Bill Fry 3rd.
Well, now there you have it. Our first qualifying event of the afternoon, and moving into the A main event, finishing up in the 3rd spot out of Greenbrier, Arkansas, will be the 66 car of Bill Fry. Finishing up in the runner-up spot out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, in car number E1, Mike Balzano. In the winner, in car number 30, how about a nice round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, out of Parkersburg, West Virginia, the simultaneous win is number 30 for Steve Shaver.
25 of Don Gross from Worcester, Ohio. The 1K of Jim Kudis from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. The C46 of Greg Carpenter from Mashheim, Tennessee. And the 22H of Bump Hedman from Warren, Pennsylvania.
Second heat race getting ready to roll out now behind the number 1 Cochran Pace truck. As we complete list, Boggs started back in 1981. Had a lot of, matter of fact, won this event in 1984, won it again in 1990, had a good 3rd place finish in 93, but failed to make the call in 94. Steve Baker, boy, I tell you what, he's got a feel real good. Probably raced 15, 20 times this year in the Phil Lucon car. Good starting spot for him. I tell you, he's got to feel butterflies a little bit up there, and he's got to understand how these cars work. Of course, he and Mark Richards build the rocket chassis, and that's what he's running. So Steve, as you said, the first time in this car, but he's run pretty good here in years past at Pennsboro. They drop down in the bridge across the creek, and then push the button and bring them out of turn 4. That is very critical right spot there. Here they come. Boggs on the inside. Fairmont, West Virginia, Steve Baker on the outside. Green flag should be up. Boggs pulls a little advantage, and he'll take it. Boggs, Baker brought very quickly into 2nd. Uh-oh, we've got trouble down on the front chute. We've got 3, 4, 5 cars involved.
We've got the 8 car here, the young man out of Arkansas, Wayne Brooks, Johnny Johnson in the 99 involved. 3M Mike Myers, and also the 22H Bump Hedman, who pretty much spun. Also, Don Gross was collected up in there. I think he's still going around in 75, but he's got damage to the right rear wheel. Looks like Chubb Frank even maybe speed. He stopped up in turn 1 in the star 1. Area right there, and Don Gross in his pit stall. The right rear wheel broken on the 75. Kenny Pettyjohn in the 38 also collected up the right rear, damaged on that car.
Trouble came out of that third row. Looks like Chubb Frank also another casualty in the star 1 car. So we lost 4 cars out of that group. Here they come. Green is out once again. Looks like another wild start. Jack Boggs goes down into turn number 1. Steve Baker trying up on the outside. Now Baker slices down on the inside. Everyone safely, this time through 1 and 2, heading down the back chute.
And Ronnie Johnson feed already into the top 3 in the 5.
Well, Steve Baker, pretty good move trying to saw it in, but Baker decided not to try it and settle down on the inside. Ronnie Johnson now drops Todd Andrews back to 4th. Andrews quickly backpedaling through the pack. Andrews with a good starting spot is in a distant 4th right now. Right now, Todd Andrews not getting a lot out of that Ford-powered Bullet car because he is getting off the pace. Here comes Johnson now. Johnson looked down on the inside of Baker, and all that racing going on, you know who's taking off.
Jack Boggs opening up a comfortable lead. He will get the stopwatch on him this side and time by and see what kind of laps he's turning.
Well, Boggs takes it down into turns number 1. Boggs running real low on the racetrack. Here comes Johnson now. Johnson looks like tries to make that move on Baker, but Baker showing a lot of straightaway speed in that 68 car. Baker goes up a little bit high, comes downstairs. Boggs, 21.81, out in the lead. Boggs in this second qualifying heat race has got the sail up in the air and the wind against him because he is really making some time now, right around a straightaway length lead over second place running Baker. Good run starting to develop though for the second spot.
Steve Baker's got his hands full. Ronnie Johnson getting high in turn 1 there, Pete, but he holds off Andrews.
Well, Johnson has been trying to make that, you might say, slice move on Baker lap after lap, but cannot pull it off. Here they come. Here comes Johnson now, trying down on the inside of Steve Baker. Watch Johnson working down on the inside. Gets a little out of shape once again.
Johnson's got to keep his eyes behind him, too, because Todd Andrews is right back with him.
Now, Todd Andrews now starting a little bit quicker. He dropped off real quick, but Todd Andrews is there. If Johnson makes a mistake, I definitely think it's going to cost him a transfer spot. That line that Steve Baker's driving is kind of driving Ronnie Johnson. He knows that the advantage is there on the bottom, but Baker's showing just running that outside groove all around this racetrack. Good straight line for Baker.
Jack Boggs' lead is almost now full straightaway, Pete, but B4 is getting faster.
See Steve Baker, he's giving the bottom to Ronnie Johnson, and Johnson knows that he can pull up on the inside. He can make the move, but Steve Baker showing a lot of cornering speed in that 68.
Able to use the cushion and get it. You said a good bite off the corner, too, in the 68.
Well, all eyes on this with its capacity crowd are on that second, third, and fourth spot.
Another time, Johnson unsuccessful in that low side bid in turn 1, but he's getting closer with each attempt.
I think Ronnie Johnson's got to be right on his tail. They're coming up on lap cars, though. This time they've got the Michael Myers car, maybe to contend with next time around. Baker, same line. Here comes Ronnie Johnson now, and cannot get the hat trick done once again.
Lap traffic in their path, too, as they race into turn number 3.
Here comes the 42 car of Todd Andrews. Andrews coming up on the inside. Will Andrews overhaul Ronnie Johnson? Lap car
Whoa, Johnson shut the door.
Johnson moved right down on the inside. Andrews very wisely backing off and giving Ronnie Johnson the line.
Meantime, here comes Jack Boggs. Pete, he is gone.
Well, Steve Baker went upstairs and he stayed upstairs lap after lap. And we've got Bobby Burgess. Look, a lot of smoke rolling from underneath the 34 car.
It's like the motor kaput. The motor kaput on the 34 Bob Burgess. Right in turns 3 and 4. Caution on the speedway.
Battle for second. Keep your eye on the 68, the 5, and the 42. Mark Miner sitting in that fifth spot. Randy Kimball unofficially sitting sixth. Here we come. Out of 3 and 4, green flags out. Lap cars drop to the inside. Lap cars go to the inside very quickly, and it looks like down the back chute.
Todd Andrews.
Yeah, Todd Andrews getting around Ronnie Johnson. Wow, they jammed up coming out of turn 2, and Todd Andrews took advantage of it to drop Ronnie Johnson into the 4th spot. Just a few laps to go. Johnson not staying with Andrews. Andrews now pulls away from 4th place running Ronnie Johnson. 1 to go this time. Let's follow Jack Boggs down the back chute for that final lap here in heat race number 2 this afternoon. Boggs sets the car now into turns 3, works the throttle, comes out of 4, takes the checkered flag. He'll win heat race number 2. Steve Baker will come across the stripe in second, followed by the 42 of Todd Andrews. The 5 car of Ronnie Johnson will move into the B main along with Mark Miner, the Georgia driver, and Joe Meadows. Also moving back will be the 46 of Greg Carpenter.
Well, Pete, we've got 2 former champions already in the B mains. Billy Moyer in car 21 from the first heat race, and the 5 of Ronnie Johnson here in heat race 2.
Well, same thing happening to Moyer, happened to Ronnie Johnson. Few laps to go. Lost that last and transfer spot. Well, ladies and gentlemen, finishing up third, moving into the A main event out of Duke Center, Pennsylvania, driving car number 42. It'll be Todd Andrews. Finishing up in the runner-up spot out of Fairmont, West Virginia, in the 68B. Out of Fairmont, Steve Baker. And ladies and gentlemen, your heat race winner out of Gratiot, Kentucky, car number B4. They call him Blackjack, Jack Boggs. In row 7 will put Gary Stoller. In Ravenswood, West Virginia, Scott Hartley. Moving to the last row, it'll be car 1X1 of Sonny Conley and Bob McCool in the 57J out of Pittsburgh, Mississippi. Shannon Thornburg in the 17 car out of Martin, Kentucky. George Lindsay out of Adrian, Michigan. And scheduled to start the 25 car of Bristol, West Virginia's Mike Benedum. We're ready to go. Heat race number 3, Dow.
That's right, Pete. 15 laps again. Top 3 cars move into this afternoon's A main. Bart Hartman, Nathan Durbro, your front row. Scott Peltz in the 15. And Racing John Mason, the 72, second row. Look for the green flag. Hartman quick on the gas in turn 4. He'll easily lead the pack into turn number 1. Durbo settles into second, Peltz third, Mason fourth. Dave Groves in car 32 moving into the 4th spot underneath the 72, John Mason. Groves now pressuring Peltz in turn 3 and 4. Hartman with an early lead here, a nice lead. Durbo by himself in second. Peltz still third, feeling the pressure from Dave Groves. We're here early, Dow.
now Scott Peltz trying to make his first ever start in the Dirt Track World Championship. He is in the best shape that he has ever been in, sitting in that third and last transfer spot. Let's see if he can hang on.
Just like Steve Baker in the race before him, he too has been using the outside line through turns 1 and 2 to ward off the challenges of Dave Groves in car 32. Bart Hartman actually turning the track faster than Jack Boggs. Hartman at 21.78. And look at Gary Stuhler, Pete. He started way back there. Stuhler starting out of the top 10, now challenging Racing John Mason for 5th, and he's got him. Oh, Greencastle, Pennsylvania, Gary Stuhler on the move.
Definitely Stuhler looking real strong. He's got his sights now set on Dave Groves and Scott Peltz. Peltz in third, Groves in for two independents, you might say, in that third and fourth spot. Two local drivers trying to both get into the show.
Well, Peltz got a little high off before that time, and Groves is right with him into one, and right behind Groves now comes Gary Stuhler. Bart Hartman, look at him flying, coming down the front straightaway. Big lead for Hartman. 21.69 that last lap. Durbo by himself in second. The race for third, fourth, fifth is a good one.
Well, I think this heat race is just going to be like the other two. The battle's going to be for the last transfer spot as this race develops on.
Scott Peltz doing a great job thus far in the 15. John Mason now in the 72 staying with Stuhler, trying to get back by him. Stuhler real fast the first few laps. Came from 11th to 5th and has not picked up any more positions. Hartman working slower traffic as he goes into turn 1. Lots of traffic in front of you, leader. Halfway, 7 laps to go. 7 laps remaining.
Now the battle starting to tighten up for third spot.
Real good. Gary Stuhler will take the 44 to the outside, trying to get by the 32 of Dave Groves. They're side by side into 3. They're still together. Groves, Stuhler, Peltz coming off of turn number 4. Gary Stuhler takes 4th. Now he'll slingshot to the inside. Trying to get third from the 15 of Scott Peltz. Stuhler trying to make the drive of the afternoon thus far, starting 11th. He's going to get it in turn number 3.
What a drive Gary Stuhler's having right now down underneath of Scott Peltz. Can he do it?
Here he comes off of 4, hugging the inside rail. He makes the pass. He is a smooth shoe out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Gary Stuhler in your top 3.
That was no gimme. He had to earn every inch of that one down.
Started 11th. Your leader, Bart Hartman, in turn 1 with lots of traffic in front of him. Nathan Durbo in the 24th second. And here comes Stuhler in third. Peltz is 4th now. Groves 5th. Mason 6th. Russell running 7th. Harper is 8th. Homebrake 9th. And running 10th is Bud McCool. Look at Bart Hartman, Pete. He's seeing some thick traffic or what, but he's got such a sizable lead. There's no hurry for Hartman.
Hartman's got a lot of real estate in between him and the second place running car. Hartman just tiptoeing through the tulips now, going underneath of Scott Hartley. The young driver who picked up the 1995 Hillbilly 100 and having a great year trying to make his second ever start in a Dirt Track World Championship, and it looks like he's pretty good shape. It just looks like now just a couple laps to go. A win here would put him in the 5th starting spot for this afternoon's 100-lapper. Nathan Durborough also with a solid run. He's been by himself in second the whole race long. Durborough was 6th here last year in car 24, or 5th last year, trying to make his 6th Dirt Track World Championship. Final lap. Bart Hartman, the Hartman Truck Center, 75 from Zanesville, Ohio. No doubt about it here in heat race number 3. He had him covered from start to finish. Second belongs
to the 24 of Nathan Durborough, and the drive of the day thus far, the 44 of Gary Stuhler from 11th to 3rd in the final transfer spot. Dave Groves, Scott Peltz, John Mason, Scott Russell, and Chuck Harper move on to the B mains. Somebody says you can't pass at Pennsboro. Don't tell Gary Stuhler. He started 11th and finished 3rd to earn the final transfer spot in car 44. Second to the 24 of Nathan Durborough. And the win, pulling onto the scales now, the 75 of Bart Hartman. Heat Ohio into 33, the 6 of Wendell Wallace from Batesville, Arkansas, the 16 of Denny Felker from Joplin, Missouri, the 22 of Stan, the man Massey from Conley, Georgia, the 28H of Shane Hitt from Buchanan, West Virginia, 31 Skip Arp from Knoxville, Tennessee, 17 B. Randy Boggs from Grayson, Kentucky, 42B Scott Broad from Kaiser, West Virginia, 07R Brett Raybergen from Clymer, New York, the 31M of Steve Burnside from Mineral Wells, West Virginia, the 92 of Dick Potts from Morocco, Indiana, and the 14 of Jim Partapillo from Elmhurst, Illinois. Heat race number 4. We're halfway through the qualifying heats.
Getting ready now, up front. Denny Chamberlain out of Lost Creek always qualifies well. Bad luck has followed him around here at Pennsboro for a number of years. Let's see if he can luck and hold up this afternoon. Davey Johnson, I talked to Davey a little bit earlier, asked him how he felt. He said he felt pretty good, but tell you what, 100 laps in these qualifying heat races is going to be pretty tough on the foot, Dow. We'll have to wait and see.
You're right. I'm sure he's feeling every bump around this racetrack with a broken right foot.
Mike Smith in that second row, that Hooters-sponsored number 99, and Jack Pennington, always a threat here at Pennsboro, the veteran from down out of Grovetown, Georgia. Field is set to go. Heat race number 4. Wendell Wallace, Danny Feltner, Stan Massey, all in the middle of the pack, along with Skip Arp. Some real good running cars back in that 4th, 5th, and 6th row. Here they come out of 3 and 4. Chamberlain picks it up. Johnson on the outside. They get cleanly out of 4. Johnson gets the jump. Chamberlain jumps into that second spot, followed by Mike Smith. Chamberlain a little out of shape, going down into 1, gathers the car back in, but he loses a lot of ground between him and Davey Johnson.
Quick start for Johnson on the outside. He was fast late in time trials, one of the few cars late in the pack to get into the 22nd range, and he's shown it here to start the heat.
Denny Chamberlain goes up high, and Mike Smith goes around him down on the inside of the 99 car. Looks like Chamberlain's car not up to par yet in this 3rd or 4th qualifying heat race.
Wendell Wallace on the move, Pete.
One of them Arkansas guys we've been talking about all day. Wendell Wallace very quickly up to 4th. Wallace in that Monday trucking entry into 4th very quickly. Brian Woolman going way up high, gets the car loose and does a pretty good job sawing on the wheel to bring it back home. Davey J in the lead, and he has pulled about a 6-8 car lead over the 99 of Mike Smith. It looks like right now that Mike Smith starting to run him down just a little bit as they went by that time.
Smith running that Donnie Moran team car, and that car, the duplicate, looking just the same and running as strong as Moran, who of course will start on the front row after being the second fast time caution out.
Looks like Brian Rollman on the back chute, bringing out the caution. The 49 car of Brian. Lap number 4 coming up. Into 3 and 4 they come. Green is back out. We're underway. Denny Chamberlain getting out of shape on the drop of the green flag, and Chamberlain moves from that 3rd position all the way back. Wow, definitely Denny Chamberlain having a bunch of problems on that 31 car.
It looked like the car almost was going to come to a stop, and then got back in the gas. He was back to position 5. Now he's back up to 4th, but out of the top 3, and that's what counts.
Denny Chamberlain giving up that last transfer spot to Wendell Wallace. Wallace moves into 3rd. Chamberlain back to 4th. Here comes Mike Smith now. We talked about it a little bit earlier that Mike Smith is starting to close up. We've got problems down the back chute.
Crash up there in turn 3, right at the exit of the bridge.
We've got, looks like Jim Partapello is one of the cars. Down, 5 to go, or 10 to go, excuse me. Mike Smith sitting in that 2nd spot. We're ready to go. Green flag looks good. Wendell Wallace sitting in 3rd. Denny Chamberlain is 4th. Stan Massey now moves up to 5th. Here comes Chamberlain looking down on the inside of Wendell Wallace. Cannot get the job done that time. Tries to move down on the inside to no avail. Chamberlain looks down on the inside once again. Wendell Wallace gets a little breathing room that time. We put another lap in the books, and Davey Johnson, broken foot and all, out in front, but not very far. You can run, but you can't hide. Mike Smith is trying to run him down. Denny Feltner trying to pass the 31 of Skip Arp. Good battle. Here comes Feltner on the way up high. Can he make it stick? He does this time. He'll move up one more spot. Halfway down.
He's putting the show on right now, Pete. Denny Feltner in car 16 trying to do a rim riding act.
Well, Denny Feltner says he might as well try to. I drove 900 miles to be here. I might as well try to do the best I can to get into the show, and he has. He's way upstairs. Skip Arp right on the pressure, but now Stan Massey pulls back upstairs to block the charge of Feltner. We have reached over the halfway point of this event. You know, Davey Johnson's been very impressive in the Dirt Track World Championships. He's made a lot of racing and races. Had a lot of good finishes also through his career.
He was 2nd here last year, Pete, 4th in 93, 3rd back in 1988. Those were his top 3 finishes out of his 7 previous starts.
So Davey Johnson's been real close, but has not taken the gold back to Pennsylvania yet.
Seems to be getting a little stronger here. Before that last caution, Mike Smith was much closer to him than he is now. It looks like Denny Chamberlain is off the pace on the back straightaway.
Well, that car's been acting up lap after lap, and finally, whatever the problem was, has definitely snapped on the 31 car. So he comes to a slow roll. Denny Chamberlain in the 31 car.
Another car following is Shane Hitt in car 28H.
One to go this time for Davey Johnson as he crosses the stripe. 1 to go. Johnson, the 99 of Mike Smith. and Wendell Wallace, your top three. Stan Massey sitting in that 4th spot, followed by Skip Arp and Denny Faulkner. Here comes the winner. It will be Davey Johnson. The 99 of Mike Smith and Wendell Wallace. He'll move into the A main event. The 22 of Stan Massey. He'll go to one of the Clancy's, followed by Skip Arp, Denny Faulkner. The 42 of Scott Brode, followed by Aaron Scott. So, ladies and gentlemen, finishing up in this 4th qualifying heat race, finishing up 3rd in the last and transfer spot out of Batesville, Arkansas, driving car number 6, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be Wendell Wallace. Finishing up 2nd in the Hooters number 99 out of Mineral Wells, West Virginia, it will be Mike Smith. And your winner of the 4th event of the afternoon out of New Alexander, Pennsylvania. How about put your hands together for the 1J of Davey Johnson. Heat race number 5 of Rick Auckland. Beside him, West Monroe, Louisiana, the 79 of Larry Moore. 2nd row, it'll put Jamestown, New York's the 28B of Dick Barton. In Cranberry Township's 1C, Lynn Geisler. 3rd row, it'll put Baton Rouge, Louisiana's Freddie Smith. In York, Pennsylvania's Rick Eckert in the 24. Row number 4 will put Frank McMillan out of Beckley, West Virginia in car number 98. In Bluegrass, Iowa's Gary Webb in car 56. Row 5 will be St. John's, Michigan's Chris Patterson in car number 67. In car number 3, Independence, Kentucky's Troy Green. Row number 6, it'll be Chicago, Illinois' Gibby Steinhaus and Dave Dixon out of Kentucky in the 99. Row 7 will be Gene Farrell out of Sissonville, West Virginia in the 07 of Brian Hoffman out of Jefferson, Ohio. John Haggerty out of New York will be in the 49 car, and Mel Minnick Jr. out of Uniontown, Pennsylvania in car number 27. Jimmy Charles in the Zanesville, Ohio's Black 44 make up the field. Heat race number 5, and it looks like now the battle has been for the 3rd spot each and every event. Been very competitive every
Heat race thus far. As you said, this is number 5. Just 2 to go. This and another. 6 qualifying heats for the 15th Annual Dirt Track World Championship. Rick Auckland out of Loudon, Tennessee, and Larry Moore from Dayton, Ohio, to 79. Bring the field up to speed in turn 4. They're on the gas. The green is out. And on the outside, it's Larry Moore. Car into the guardrail and spinning. The 98 car. Frank McMillan in car 98. Really, row 2, these guys do a lot of racing. Here we go. Auckland and Moore into 3 and 4. Off of 4. And look at Barton down on the inside. 3 wide down the front straightaway. Dick Barton blasting off the inside. Trying to take second now from Auckland. It's Moore out in front. Auckland will hold on to second. Barton is third. Lynn Geisler with a problem in the 1C. Geisler, who started 4th, slow at the back of the pack. The green stays out. Larry Moore is your leader. Auckland second. And now Freddie Smith in the 00 taking third from Dick Barton. Moore, Auckland way up into the cushion in turn 2. Lynn Geisler limps the Cochran Automotive 1C into the pits. His day done. Boy, tough break for Lynn Geisler. Never really got going on the drop of the green flag. Something going wrong with the cars. They headed down into 1, and Geisler under a power, but something aboard the Cochran car here this afternoon going wrong. Larry Moore opening up a half a straightaway leader with a 12 of Rick Auckland. Freddie Smith in third in car 00. Dick Barton fourth in the 28s.
looks like Freddie Smith starting to close in up on Auckland just a little bit. Smith running a low groove, and Auckland went up way up high on the previous lap.
Larry Moore still your leader and getting faster. Well, the lap times have slowed down here the past couple of heats. The track has slickened off a bit. Lap times are slower. And that usually means that a little later on they'll start to take on more rubber and get real fast.
I know the groove that Moore's running. Usually the cars run as they exit turn 4 down on the inside. We'll watch Moore next time around. Moore and the first 2 or 3 cars running about as high as you can get as they exit turn 2. Watch Moore as he heads down the back chute this time now.
There he goes into turn number 3 in the Mountwood Racing Engine 79. He's right up there on the top side using that cushion, as you said, Pete. A new line at exit turn 4 here at Pennsboro. And a new line in turn 2, too, where the guys are right up there putting that right rear tire on that cushion. Rick Auckland second, and he's all some by himself now as he puts some daylight between himself and the 0-0 of Freddie Smith. Dick Barton in car 28 fourth. And 5th is the 3 of Troy Green, and 6th, the 24 of Rick Eckert. It looks like the body on the 24 car of Eckert starting to rub the right rear tires. In fact, he may have cut one of those tires. Rick Eckert in car 24 got something amiss with the rear end of that car. You can see the wheel, maybe a shock broke, because the wheel bouncing up and down into the body of that car.
I think you're right, Dal. Definitely something broke on the 24. He's starting to slow up now, so whatever the problem is starting to, and Eckert stopping up on the speedway. It looks like over in turn number 4, and caution is out.
Halfway, caution is out. Caution on the racetrack. Rick Eckert, something breaking on the left rear suspension. And the car, the wheel bouncing up it. Off the 4th turn, the green is out. Larry Moore continues to use the high side. Auckland second, Smith third, Barton fourth, Troy Green fifth.
Running out of those top 3. They're running for very important positions in that consolation race. You need to be up in the first couple rows, 2 or 3 rows for that consi coming up a little bit later. So between finishing 4th, 5th, and 6th, very important.
You're right. Every spot counts. Right now, Troy Green pressuring the 28 of Dick Barton for 4th as 1, 2, and 3 continue to run the same. Larry Moore, Rick Auckland, and Freddie Smith.
Well, Moore took the lead on lap number 1, and man, he has never looked back. I think this is a kind of a Larry track Larry Moore likes. Wide open, hauling on in there type of deal where you haul it on, let the car slide up, and then go on.
Troy Green able to get by Dick Barton, and Green now 4th. Barton drops to 5th in the 28B. Gary Webb is 6th right now in car 56 as we close in on the 5th race, the 5th heat race, winding down here.
You know, it's ironic that the 2 guys that's made all 14 of them, these races, are in this heat race, and it looks like just a few laps ago they're going to make number 15. So we'll keep that streak alive.
Talking about Larry Moore and Freddie Smith, and if things hold the way they are, they will both be in. Moore your leader, and Smith running 3rd. White flag is waving. We've got 1 lap to go. From Dayton, Ohio, in the Southwood Racing Engine 79. Your fifth heat race belongs to Larry Moore. Rick Auckland second. Freddie Smith third. Troy Green, Dick Barton, Gary Webb move into the B main. Taking the third and final transfer spot, the 00 of Freddie Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Finishing second, the 12 of Rick Auckland, and your winner from Dayton, Ohio in the 79, Larry Moore. Moore and Smith keep their streaks alive of making the starting field for every Dirt Track World Championship. We are ready for our sports from Ashland, Kentucky. Third, the 75 of John Gill from Mitchell, Indiana. Fourth, Jackie Boggs in car 4 from Grayson, Kentucky. Starting fifth from Cowpen, South Carolina, the F1 of Mike Duvall. Then it's the 71 of Don O'Neill from Martinsville, Indiana, and the 855 of Bob Adams Jr. from Racine, Ohio. Followed by Curtis Gaddis from Little Rock, Arkansas, in the 131. The Roman numeral 3 of David Powers from Kentucky. And the 10 of Larry Bond from Coolville, Ohio. Then it's the 70 of Jeff Smith from Kings Mountain, North Carolina. The 10C of Kenny Compton Jr. from Beckley, West Virginia. The 14 of Ed Dunn from Beaver, Pennsylvania. The 98 of Will Rao from Chambersburg, PA. The 10H of Tim Harsh. The double X of Van Pykel from Home, PA. The 32H of Jeff Hoffman from Clarendon, Pennsylvania. And the D11 of John Flinner out of Evans City, Pennsylvania. Indiana. UMP stronghold runner from out of the Midwest. Young Jackie Boggs, his best shot to make his first dirt track championship, sitting in that second row. Mike Swartz in hit. Pace truck, number 1 Cochran pace truck, pulls off the speedway. Hit dropping back just a little bit now. Hit starts to pick up the pace. Swartz trying to stay even. It looks like a real good start coming out of 4. Best start that we've had. Swartz almost loses the outside, gathers it back in. He gets into second real quick. John Gill drops back to third. Gill now moves underneath of Swartz, cannot make that stick. He drops into third. Tim Hitt, your race leader. Swartz way up on the outside. Here comes Gill down on the inside. And what Charlie Swartz is using up all the racetrack in second right now. Charlie's taking her from guardrail to guardrail. There's no more real estate left that he has to run on out there in this afternoon early. He is holding on to that second spot and now trying to close on Hitt for the lead. Here comes Swartz on the outside, and I'll tell you what, Gill looking down on the inside, but Gill really just tiptoeing, trying to not get involved early in this event. Jackie Boggs is into fourth. All this racing for the runner-up spot. Tim Hitt getting a good advantage on the rest of the pack. Yeah, Hitt coming off of 4, looking strong. He's turning this lap at 22.89, so the track is still slow right now, still on the slow side. It was a lot faster the first 3 heats. John Gill, glued on the back bumper of Charlie Swartz. 4th place running car, Jackie Boggs, has got to pick the pace up if he wants to go to the big dance here this evening. Swartz giving Gill a lot of real estate underneath, but Gill just waiting for that right opportunity. Yeah, Charlie is loose coming off the corners. Gill's been able to get alongside of his quarter panel, but no further pressure. Hasn't been able to get alongside even with him. That time, Swartz decided to drop down on the inside, not to keep the cars so far up on the racetrack. And I think that definitely helped him there, staying about right in the middle of the racetrack. All this going on, Jackie Boggs now. Boggs, I talked about him a little bit earlier, and he's just a couple of cars off now. Car number 4, Jackie Boggs. Here comes Gill now. Caution flag is out. We got a car spun atop the 4th turn. Set to go. Pace picks up early in this
Last qualifying heat race. Here they come. Green's back out. Looks like right now it's going to get pretty interesting for that third spot. Jackie Boggs, now Bob Adams Jr. pulls up on Jackie Boggs, heading down the back chute. Tim Hitt out of Weston, West Virginia. We've got that rocket car dialed in. Has hit really. They dropped the green flag and he pulled Schwartz 7-8 cars very quickly. So Tim Hitt looking very impressive at the halfway point coming up this time. Jackie Boggs looks like he's starting to move up, and Boggs a costly mistake on that lap. Got the car just a little bit too far out of shape, broke the tires loose, and almost crossed the car up. Here comes Gill now, down on the inside of Schwartz. I kind of thought John Gill may give him a try on the outside now, but Gill, he's convinced that the inside line's the quicker way around. Now Gill goes on the outside now. He's trying to prove you wrong, Pete. John Gill looking low, looking high, trying to get around the 11 of Charlie Schwartz. Watch this now. Here they go. They touch. Charlie ain't going to give it up easy. You know that. He holds them off another time. Where they get down there in turn one, and it seems like Gill has the line, but Schwartz just nudges him out going into turns 1 and 2. Now Jackie Boggs is back in the picture again in the Ford. That is right now, he's going to make Gill play his hand out because Jackie Boggs starting to come up now. He knows that he can hear that motor sound on that McDonald's sponsor B4, and he's got to make a move on Schwartz. Looks like Jeff Smith having some problems. A right rear tire down on the 70 car. Look at this, coming out of turn number 4 this time. Just a few more laps to go. And Jackie Boggs is in striking distance. All eyes are on that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th spot. White flag next time around for the field as Tim Hitt heads down the back chute. Tim Hitt with about a straightaway length lead on the remainder of the field. Here comes Boggs now. They touch Schwartz. Boggs gets into the guardrail. Uh-oh. A hard crash. A hard crash. Jackie Boggs into the inside guardrail. And he was collected by another car. We need emergency crew down on Jackie Boggs, please. I believe it was Bob Adams Jr. was the second car that got into it. Gentlemen, heads up, emergency crews. We need emergency crews checking on Jackie Boggs, please. Ambulance crew, let's go, gentlemen. Ambulance crew, guys, let's go. And we understand that Jackie Boggs has climbed out of the car. Jackie is all right. O'Neill moves into 4th. Mike Duval is 5th. Larry Bond is 6th. That's the way they line up with 2 to go. 2 laps, green flag dials out as they exit turn number 4, getting the green flag. Look at Don O'Neill on the outside. O'Neill wasting no time to move into that 3rd spot. John Gill, who was, trying to get Charlie Schwartz. Now O'Neill trying to get Schwartz too. White flag, 1 more to go this time, and Don O'Neill moves into the 2nd spot. Good move by Don O'Neill. Watch this tussle for 3rd on the final lap. Schwartz, Gill, and O'Neill. Boy, I like that move Don O'Neill just played off. Here comes Gill on the outside. He won't get it done again, and Swartz will finish up third. Good run with 2 laps to go. John Gill will settle for the 4th spot, just out of the top 3. Finishing up third, moving into today's 100-lap event will be the 11 car of Charlie Swartz out of Ashland, Kentucky. Finishing up second with 2 laps to go, came out of the 4th spot, the 71 car of Don O'Neill.
That might have been the cool move of the day so far.
That was, but I tell you what, this gentleman that won this qualifying heat race got to feel real good in the 68 car. How about a nice round of applause for Weston, West Virginia's Tim Hitt, ladies and gentlemen, your 6th and final qualifier of the night.
He'll move into the 8th starting spot. And by the way, the top 2 stars pointsmen who failed to qualify through the heats will start in the final row. Positions 27 and 28 for the Dirt Track World Championship. They being Rick Eckert and cars. Scott Blomqvist wrecking here on the front straightaway.
Can you believe that? Need a record of the front chute, they tell me. Need a record of the front chute in here. We were on our second session, or first session for the Donnie Moran and Scott Blomqvist for their practice session, and something going wrong. We did not catch it. And Scott Blomqvist is on the front chute, they say, in the 18 car.
Unbelievable luck this guy has had at Pennsboro Speedway.
Right now, the small mall area is open. Now be a good time while we're getting we've got 2 consolation races coming up. We've got 2 consies coming up. We're going to get those consies. We have them on the board just yet, but we need to get those consi cars. We need to warn you, if you're in one of the consolation races, we go to the board, check where you're at, because we've got a B and a C main. We've got 2 consies, 2 B main consolations here this afternoon. So if you are in one of the consies, if you're one of the cars that finished 4th through 9th, we need you to head to the board to check out where you're going to be in position, because that's going to be very important now. We're in pretty good shape right now, but we've got 2 consolation races to run yet.
Well, gentlemen, we cannot wait, so please, those cars that are in the consolations, get to the lineup area as quickly as possible.
As Brent has been telling you guys all afternoon long, we need for you to head to the board, check out where you're going to be in the consolation race, and check out where you're going to be. And we need you to get on the first call to get up as quick as possible. So all consolation cars, let's go, gentlemen, shake 'em and wake 'em.
car. So, we've got a new rear end sitting here. We're getting it in right now. We've got a new front end to put on the car. We'll have to go over the car really close so be sure we didn't mess something up that we might not catch, because we're definitely going to get the car fixed. We'll be out there for the race. We plan on having it in top form when we get out there, but we're just hoping that there wasn't something else happened here that we don't catch. But I think we got the stuff to take care of the problem.
I'll tell you what, a lot of talent underneath the car right now working. I know Barry's got a lot of help there.
Yeah, no doubt about it. These guys, if there's anybody that can get it right, they can get it right. And like I said, we've got brand new parts to put on it. And, we're just a little bit surprised with it's a brand new rear end, and the bell in it just busted right in two. So, all you can do is put new parts on these things and hope they hold up, and sometimes they don't. So, you just got to get them fixed.
I'll let you go back. Hey, thanks for taking time. Good luck to you.
Thanks.
Hey, Scott Bloomquist, ladies and gentlemen, they will be back. They're coming. They're going to make it. They've got a lot of talent underneath the car. See Barry Wright also underneath the car working. Randy Sweet also out of Michigan underneath the car there. So a lot of talent building this car right now. They've got 3-4 guys underneath the back of it. A couple guys up front, so they're going to get it fixed. They've got a good hour or so, or hour and a half, so they're in pretty good shape right now, Dow. Car doesn't look to be too bad. They're just replacing the rear end of the car right now. They've got a whole complete rear end housing underneath of the getting ready to take the old one out. They've got a lot of parts upstairs. They've got another complete car, so anything they need, they're going to be in pretty good shape. Scott Bloomquist will be out there for the 15th running of the Dirt Track World Championship. Yeah.
All right, Pete, we thank
Billy Moyer up front, Dave Groves on the outside, Troy Green and Booper Bear, row number 2. Top 2 cars once again advance into the A main. Top 2 cars. 132 into the big dance here this evening. Troy Green, Booper Bear, Scott Peltz, and Dick Barton. He's got other ideas dancing in their mind right now. Show and tell time. This is it for a lot of the drivers here as we get the green flag, and we've got a major problem. A lot of states just represented in this, one of the first of the B mains. Here they come once again. Let's see if we can get through this time. Groves on the outside, Billy Moyer on the inside. Everyone this time safely. Watch Pierce. Pierce very quickly moves up 2 or 3 spots. Trying to move that 32. He moves now into the 4th, 5th spot. Barton on the outside. Pierce down on the inside. Here they come. We complete lap number 1 at 25. Heading down the back straightaway, no surprise to Billy Moyer leading the pack down. Dave Groves sitting in that 2nd spot. Everyone hauling it into 3 and 4. 2 wide coming out of 4 this time. Back in the pack. Bob Pierce looking up on the outside of Barton. Can he make it stick? He tries to make it stick. He does. Bob Pierce now moves into the 5th spot around Dick Barton. Uh-oh. Pierce going up a little bit high. Slides it up. Gathers it back around. Here he turns 3 and 4. Boober Bear up on the high side. Pierce trying to get a good run. He does. He moves now into the 4th spot. Troy Green is 5th. Dick Barton is 6th. Bob Pierce now trying to move up into the 3rd spot. Pierce sliding up high. He goes into 3rd. Bob Pierce, the Danville, Illinois driver, into 3rd. Pierce bringing that 32P car in a good ride here this afternoon. Bob Pierce now into 2nd. Bob Pierce into that 2nd spot. Here comes Groves now. Groves stays down on the inside. Bob Pierce into the runner-up spot. Dave Groves is 3rd. Running in the 4th spot, Cooper Bear. Running 5th, the 28 car of Dick Barton. Man, I like to watch Bob Pierce race. He ventures out where no man will go. Billy Moyer out in the lead. We've got trouble. Gibby Steinhaus. Gibby Steinhaus in trouble. I think it's the... Green flag is out. Bob Pierce going up a little bit too high into the guardrail. Also involved looks like Gibby Steinhaus in the 21 car. Gibby climbing out of the car. He's all right. Shook up a little bit. Dick Potts is the other car involved. Dick Potts is the driver they're attending to on the front chute. I did not see anything that happened. The crew's the ambulance crew tending to Dick Potts right now. Fire and rescue teams on the scene. Now I was watching the 32B car of Bob Pierce because Pierce had made a heck of a drive to the front. We had taken the green flag. Pierce went up high, collected the outside retaining wall. Did you see what happened here in front of us?
I just saw the 92 of Dick Potts and I think it was 21 of Gibby Steinhaus together. Potts took a hit right directly in the driver's side door. And that's why the crews are taking their time. It was a hard hit.
We hope the best for the 30-year veteran out of Morocco, Indiana, Potts, who was in semi-retirement for a good while and came back here and had a good run a few years back in the Dirt Track World Championship. And as soon as we find something out, we'll let you race fans know. I'd like to let you race fans know if you're parked up on Route 50. That's the 4-lane. If you're parked on Route 50, you will be ticketed, then towed. So if you're up on the 4-lane, you're going to have to make a move with your cars, get them back down here or whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I'll repeat it. If you are parked up on Route 50, you better go get your car and bring it down here and put it in the lot. Try to double park it somewhere else. They're going to tow your car. So If you're parked up on Route 50, please, just up on the 4 lane, you are going to get towed, and they're going to start hauling tow trucks in. Laps till now, working on lap number 8. This lap 7 has been a lengthy caution here. We're back under green. Moyer takes him down the back chute, now getting chased by Dave Groves, the blue number 32. Booper Bear running third. We complete lap number 8 this time. Moyer starting to pull a little bit of real estate between him and second place runner Dave Groves. Dave Groves, big feat to put this team into this race here this afternoon. As the independent from Morgantown, West Virginia. Booper Bear dropping way back into third. Booper Bear coming up on lap number 10. Bear is going to make a charge to the front. Right now, he's going to start getting close as Dick Martin starting to apply the pressure. Moyer next time around getting into lap traffic as he starts to come up on the slower cars of Greg Carpenter. Still in that second spot, Dave Groves. Cooper Bear and Dick Barton. Boy, Dave Groves has got to start feeling a little bit of goosebumps right now. Just a few laps left. Will he make his first ever Dirt Track World Championship? He's in pretty well under control, getting no pressure for that runner-up spot now. Starting to slow down just a little bit. Looks like Booper Bear starting to close up just a little bit on the 32 of Dave Groves. Troy Green and Dick Barton fighting it out for 4th and 5th. That is no place to be right now. You need to be in those first two spots. Moyer getting around the slower car of Carpenter. And now Booper Bear is starting to close up about 3 to 4 car lengths over second place running Dave Grove. Coming up on lap number 20. Next time around with 5 to go. Groves. Looks like some sheet metal coming off of that roof of that 32 car, affecting the handling of that car with 5 to go. Groves will have to come up on the slower two cars. This will become problems. Watch that second place battle. Groves coming up on the slower car of Carpenter. Can he get around? He goes on the outside, now caught in. Cooper Bear dives down on the inside. Groves getting up on the outside. Now he gets up on the Greg Carpenter. Here they come, Cooper Bear. Let's see if he can set him up this time for the pass. Groves getting down this time. Troy Green now. Troy Green tries to move around Booper Bear for that third spot. Clean sailing now for Dave Groves. White flag will be displayed this time for Billy Moyer. Here comes Moyer at the stripe. 1 to go. 1 to go this time. Here comes Dave Groves. White flag. Moyer will win it very easily. Here comes the battle for the second spot. Will Dave Groves hold on? Yes, he does. The 32 of Dave Groves, followed by Booper Bear and Troy Green. Well, Billy Moyer will win a very convincingly B main. In car number 21, Moyer pulls about a lap lead to take the win, ladies and gentlemen. How about a nice round of applause for your B-main winner, Billy Moyer, in car number 21. But a big congratulations goes out to the car number 32, Dave Groves, the independent, the Shinston Heating Lennox dealer sponsored automobile, makes his first ever Dirt Track World Championship here this afternoon. Dave Groves, a local competitor here in the tri-state area. This has got to be like a big major feature win for this team in putting that car into today's race. Car number 32, congratulations to Dave Bros. Moving into that last transfer spot here this afternoon with the Track World Championship. On the pole will be the 5 of Ronnie Johnson, flanked by the 22 of Stan the Man Massey. Row 2, the 75 of John Gill, and the 7 of Mark Miner. Row 3, it's 31 Skip Harp, and the F1 of Mike Duval. Next row we find the 33M of Joe Meadows and the 16 of Denny Felker, the 10 of Larry Bond and the 7K of Randy Kimmel. 42B Scott Broad to the D11 of John Flinner. 00 Chuck Harper and the 07X of Brian Huffman. The 100 of C.S. Fitzgerald. 67 Chris Patterson. The 2 of Frank Wilson. Scheduled to go next, the 1C of Lynn Geisler. The 10 of Paul Harris, the star 1 of Chubb Frank, the 34 of Bobby Burgess, and the 77 of Barry Bragdon if they all answer the call. All right, those are... Randy Ball. George Lindsay, the 49, the final car, added to this as an alternate. 25 laps. 2 cars move on. And the rest can pack it in for the 1995 Dirt Track World Championship presented by Turbo Blue. Off the 4th turn, the green is out, and here we go. Dan Massey in the 22 will take the lead into turn number 1. Ronnie Johnson in the 5, pressuring him on the inside as they exit turn 2 down the back straightaway. Johnson has the lead back into turn number 3. Massey 2nd, Gill runs 3rd, Mark Miner in the 7 car 4th. Then it's Skip Harp in the 31 running 5th. John Gill in car 75 on the inside trying to move to 2nd. He'll make that pass into turn number 1. Stan Massey now 3rd in the 22. Mark Miner still 4th in the 7. Harp in the 31 5th. Then the 16 of Denny Felker. Change, your top 5 remain the same. Ronnie Johnson out in front. John Gill 2nd, Stan Massey 3rd, Mark Miner 4th, and Skip Harp 5th. Elker is 6th, Duval 7th. Swan is 8th, Fitzgerald 9th, and Broad runs 10th. Opening up a real nice lead here. The yellow is out. We got caution on the speedway. The 07X of Brian Huffman limping along the outside of the back stretch. Green is out.
Ronnie Johnson, and Chattanooga Choo Choo leads him again. John Gill, Stan Massey, Mark Miner, and Skip Harp in pursuit. George Lindsay headed to the pits here in car 49. Lindsay into the pits in car 49. Ronnie Johnson again off the fourth turn, continues to pull away here. Car length lap, 75, John Gill in second. On the bubble right now. Trying to earn the 24th starting spot. Johnson hangs on for the win. He would start 22nd. Making his way up through the field in car D11. Leonard started way back in the pack, but he has worked his way well up into the top 10. Point to be lap 16 complete this time by. 16 laps complete. Don Gill staying within striking distance of your race leader. Gill on the 75, not letting Johnson pull away. Yellow is out. We've got a car spun on the inside of the fourth turn. The caution is out. Green is out. Caution back on the speedway. We've got debris on the racetrack, debris on the track. Green flag is back out. 16 laps are complete. 16 laps complete. the F1 of Mike Duvall. He has been the only car really on the move in his second outerwear pre-filters B-main. Laps are winding down, and Ronnie Johnson is still your leader, and John Gill occupying the second and final transfer spot. Duvall, the F1 getting back underneath and past the V11 of John Quitter. Duvall back into the 6th spot. Racing hard for 3rd, 22 Skip Arp, the 7 of Mark Miner, and running 5th at 31. Stan Mass, excuse me, the 22, Mark Miner the 7, 5th is the 31 of Skip Arp. One more lap in our final outerwears pre-filters B-main. Last year he won the Dirt Track World Championship. He'll start back in the pack this year after winning our second outerwears pre-filters B-main. Ronnie Johnson. John Gill also moved in to the 100-lap main event. Car 75. Stan Massey in the 22, Mark Miner in the 7, and Skip Harper in the 31, positions 3, 4, and 5. He's won 2 of the last 3 Dirt Track World Championships. He'll be starting way back in the 22nd spot in car number 5, winning that outerwears pre-filters B-main from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Ronnie Johnson. And second, the final transfer spot goes to Mitchell, Indiana's John Gill in car number 75. Well, the 28